Hey guys, Roman Super Saiyan here, back again doing another video of ranked gameplay. This time, it is a loss. Yes, I said I want to upload more losses. I want to show you guys that I am human. I do lose. Yes, I lose quite a bit. I would say I win more, but I would definitely lose. We are trying something different here. We just added Nox Fox to our roster for our team. So Nox Fox is now officially in the Team Apex. For those of you guys who keep confusing that with the Guild Apex, Apex Guild was APEX. The team is APX. The guild no longer exists, but the team still exists. So yeah, Nox Fox is now the sub for Ben. So when Ben cannot show up and support for us, we have Nox Fox to fill. Now, some of you guys may be like, Nox Fox, he's not like high elo. He actually, as far as roam, he has potential for high elo play. And because we know each other so well, the group of us, we were just like, you know what, why don't we just help Nox refine his support and get him to high elo play. So we are trying to build this team where we have subs as well. So we have, as far as me or Oracle, we have Bladeheart to fill for either one of us, and then for Ben we have Nox Fox potentially. So that way, if things happen, I'm not forced to roam like our last VGL. When I roam, the chances of us winning drops dramatically. So I'm not a bad roam. I'm just not a high elo roam. I would say I'm like an SA level roam at most. So that's why we brought in Nox Fox to fill for Ben, because even though Nox Fox is technically a lower skill tier than me, he's a higher level roam than I am. So therefore, that's why he's the fill. But yeah, so we did lose this match. We are running a double weapon power. We are testing out a new comp, a potential candidate for a new comp. So not necessarily the hero itself, so not necessarily Ringo, Glaive, Finn, but more so the damage comp. So we're actually running double weapon power. We're going to both go potentially 2 bone saws if we can reach that point in the match. So Ben will have a bone saw, I would have a bone saw. And we would just shred them is the idea with damage, because they can build armor, but both of us are shredding it at a very fast rate, since both of us kind of go attack speed. So that was the idea. Does it work out? I don't know if it probably could have worked out in this match, but I think the main thing is that Nox, this is one of his first games with us as a team, and so we don't have that synergy yet, so that's going to be an issue. And we're also trying this new comp out for the first time. This is literally the first time we've run this double weapon power comp. But yeah, so that together, and then also Ben's not a main jungler. We all know that he's the main roam, right? But that doesn't disregard the fact that maybe we can still win. You never know. And even though we're ranking, we don't always rank to rank. We rank also to practice in a competitive environment, because when we're going to play competitively, this is the environment it's going to be like, in a sense. So we want to be able to put ourselves in an environment which is difficult, testing out this comp or this team to its limit. So we did lose, obviously, but it's a great experience for us. Another thing too is, like, I would like to reiterate, I said this before in previous videos, but losing is not a bad thing. It sucks for your elo sometimes, sure, but losing is a positive thing because it allows you to see where you had mistakes, see where your flaws are, and help improve upon that. So it also allows you to see what doesn't work or what potentially could have worked in that situation. Just like I said, just seeing the flaws and how you could have corrected it. Here's an interesting fight. I actually go toe-to-toe with the Kestrel. I thought I was going to lose the fight, but the minions won it for me, so I was pretty happy about that. I did not plan that at all. It just happened that way. I thought I lost that fight, but it turns out the game didn't want me to lose it, so therefore I won it. And my jungler actually won the... well, I would say they did well in the jungle. They didn't lose or win the fight. I think it was kind of like a 1-1 situation. They each lost a teammate, but overall I think so far the game has been pretty aggressive. So it's going to be already a huge indication that this match is not going to be a walk in the park. We know Wizard Sibs, not necessarily personally, but we've played against him quite a few times recently and definitely in the past. And he's a phenomenal player, and his team is obviously a pretty well-coordinated team as well, as you'll see in this match. So it's not going to be easy peasy throughout the entire course of the match. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be an inclined charge up the mountain type of situation. And then hopefully if we can snowball, it'll be all downhill from there. Or all... I'm messing it up. I'm just going to stop talking about that. But anyway, so... yeah, so... Again, losing is not a bad thing. Overall. It's actually a great thing. Because if you always win, you never really know as well how to improve. But yeah, so losing is a good thing. That's my point. Okay, so before we get much too far into this match, I wanted to talk about something I've done in the past outside of this match. During the 1.17 update, I did do a podcast with the Main Vein podcast. So I'll leave that in the description down below for you guys to check out, and also in the comment section. It was me talking to him, being interviewed about the 1.17 patch notes and just discussing it, and it was really fun, and I really enjoyed it, so definitely check it out. The podcast has had guests such as Oracle, Fuji, and then more to come, I'm sure, and then definitely more people in the past they've had. But those are the top names off the top of my head, so Oracle, Fuji, and myself. I think they're looking at getting Benton on the podcast as well. And I think it's still in the works whether or not that's going to happen, but that's all up to Ben, obviously. Ben, if you're watching, they want you. But yeah, so check it out. But anyways, back to the match. So hopefully this shows you guys that I am human. I do lose. I lose a lot. I would say I would win more. Oh my god, okay. This situation annoyed the heck out of me. Okay, so you saw I was in that brush where the minions are currently right now. I was running up to the top side of the wall, and the pathing decided to make me run up and then backtrack down. And then at that point, I'm just like flustered. I'm like, wait, what? Until my hero comes back down into the fight, and I'm just like, what is he doing? And so at that point, I was already dead. I'm just like, okay, cool pathing, SCMC. So that kind of irritated me in this match, was that little event where the pathing messed up on me. I'm like 99% sure it's the pathing, because I tapped like a couple, I would say I tapped in that area a couple times. Maybe, there is that chance that maybe I messed it up. Who knows? But yeah, so I'll have to go back and see it again. But from my experience, I thought that was a pathing. I was just like, oh my god, you serious? But we'll definitely have to check it out. It could have been just me being sloppy with my controls. There's always that chance. Okay, here's a big mistake. Big mistake. I'm rotating. I'm rotating to help my team. They honestly don't really need me that badly to the cost of a turret being destroyed. You see here, I'm still in the jungle, and now my turret was destroyed. Bad move. You want to protect your turrets, especially at 6 minutes into the match. So not only did I lose the turret, but I also lost a lot of farm. I'm at 34 farm at 6 minutes. That is not good. So the match was kind of even, I would say. And because of my rotation, I dropped our potential footing. I lost our footing in the match. And now we have to get it back. Because their gold is skyrocketed by 900 gold. And that's not good for us, because now it's going to be even harder for us to win fights. But yeah, so don't do that, guys. Like I said, I make mistakes, and I'm going to learn from this. I hope. But yeah, so don't do that. Don't rotate so often and so unnecessarily to the point where you're taking risk, as in losing your turret or losing farm so often that it's putting you behind. Sometimes it's better off letting your junglers die, potentially, or potentially try to fight it out themselves, rather than always having yourself try to contribute what you can, because that can put you behind. Even if you're trying to be generous to your junglers, it's actually hurting you in the end, and that's not good, because in the end, that actually affects your junglers in a negative way, because when their laner rotates and you rotate with them, their laner's stronger than your laner, and that's not good, right? So you want to maintain your farm and definitely your footing in lane overall, and that's where I kind of was sloppy in this match. So here we are. It's just right now. It's just not looking good for us. We are trying to get that Skye. We got the Skye. We're gonna go ahead and get the fortress. The glaive goes down, so Ben goes down. We're gonna go ahead and try to get the Kestrel. She's gonna get away for a little bit, but we are gonna end up getting her in the end here. I'm gonna ult her. She's actually gonna double back for whatever reason and try to kill me, which actually comes close. But Finn actually saves the day here. So here we go. I think the reason why she tried to stay around was because she knew I was low on energy, and she knows the damage output on a weapon power Kestrel is pretty high for her A. I think if Nox wasn't there, I would have lost that fight. Excuse me, I'm hiccuping. I just had tea. For a reason, tea gives me the hiccups. But yeah, here we are. We're backing out. We are hurt. We have no energy, so we're going to go ahead and go back. So we got our Sorrow Blade. We're going to work towards our Bone Saw now. I don't know. I don't know if I really like the double weapon power. I think it has potential. I think the biggest thing was we needed somebody on jungle for main. No offense to Bentham. Bentham's not such a horrible player that I wouldn't want him as my jungler. But when we're trying to practice for VGL, in a sense, we want to maintain our people on the right roles. So Ben on support. But the only people that were available at the time for our team was myself, Ben, and Nox. And we wanted to get Nox in practice. And so one of us, Ben and I, had to go jungle. So that was unfortunate. But I think if Bladeheart or Oracle were on one of the junglers, the team fights would have been a little bit better. Because Ben definitely has a hard time, and I have a hard time with this Kestrel. And then we're just having a hard time in general, as you can see. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab some armor. I got that what's it called? The Coda Plates for the Coda Plates for the Kestrel. It's still not enough. I'm still getting wrecked by Skye, because Skye's CP. I'm grabbing armor. And that doesn't help me at all until maybe even when I get the Metal Jacket, which has some shields, but it's just not enough to justify it as a counter-defensive item towards CP. You need to get an Aegis for that. But I had to kind of pick. The biggest problem too, or one of the biggest problems in this match, was we just did not have the same focus a lot of the times. We have some good fights like the one right now, but there are some times where our focus is kind of split. Like, one of us goes Skye, one of us goes Kestrel, and that affects us in the end, which is not good. We don't get to pick up the ace, though. The Fortress does not stick around enough, at least not right now. He does come back. We do pick him up, I think, in a little bit, but by the time that's done, I think the ace is already over. We don't got the ace anymore. So here we are. He's trying to... Yeah, so the ace is gone. He's trying to just get our attention, I guess, for whatever reason. Maybe take one of us out, because we were pretty low. But it actually hurt him in the end. But we have to double out, because Skye is so threatening right now that she could probably 1v3 us right now. Just because, not necessarily in power, but just because we are not playing smart. We are playing sloppy. And again, Ben's getting destroyed by that Skye. Ben's having problems in jungle. I'm having problems in lane. It's not a good match. Here's Chenchua. I think that's how I pronounce his name. Or her name, I don't know. Destroying me again. Nox, unfortunately, just got caught out. There's going to be a few pulls here and there by Nox. He's not a Finn main. He doesn't Finn very much. I think a lot of times he plays Arden or Catherine. Or Fortress is one he's starting to pick up. Finn is the one that we're trying to get in practice with, because he is a top pick. And we want to make sure that if we can deny the enemy team of Finn, that's more power to us, because Finn definitely is going to get picked if left alone. I won't say definitely, but there's a high chance. So we want to be able to have we want to be the ones with Finn rather than the enemy with Finn overall. So we're trying to get both Ben and, well, not to say Ben. Ben is a Finn main, but Nox with that Finn experience under his belt. So there's going to be a few pulls where, like, we weren't even ready for the pull. We're not communicating right. There's a few elements right now that are really hurting us. as far as a team. One, like I said, the focus split sometimes. Two, another one is the... Hold on, I'm watching the fight. Sorry. So the focus splits, and then also the lack of experience, I guess you would say, with us as a team. We don't have that communication. So right now we should be communicating better, but we're not. We're not correlating our plans, our strategies, like immediately. So like for instance, Nox should be telling us, "Hey, I'm gonna grab him here in a second. My ult is up." And then I'll be like, "Okay, I'll ult them." And then Glaive will be, "Okay, I'll get my afterburn ready, and I'll make sure I get the focus on the Kestrel or whatever one we're focusing, and we'll all narrow in on that hero." That's what we should be doing, but we're not. We're just getting flustered. We're not really working as a team, and it's really hurting us because these fights are not in our favor. My score is fine, but my CS is not too. And a lot of times what happens with me too in this match is I get caught out to the point where I'm not in a position to be aggressive, and they're already going in. Not to say it's their fault. I would say generally it's my fault because for whatever reason, I get myself in a position where it's not ideal for a fight. And I know we're going to start the fight soon, but for whatever reason, like when they start, I'm like not yet ready. So I think it's more of a combination of like the team in general, since we're not working smartly. We should be voicing out our concerns or our plans a little bit more. That's a big factor into why a lot of people lose, is that one, they don't have comms, or two, they have comms and they're not using comms, efficiently. But yeah, so here we are. We're just trying to stick together at this point. I don't want to leave my team unless like I absolutely need to, like maybe I have to clear lane. I don't want to lose my farm, or I need to go back to shop, or whatever it may be. I want to try to stick with my team at this point. That snipe was actually a lot of damage, 700 damage I think it was. But here we are. We're going to go back. We're going to heal up, but we don't want to be at mid-health during a fight. They're going to grab our minion mine back. Now, I think the fight's going to break out here in a second because they are definitely in a position. We are going to want to try to engage at this point because we could have cut them out, but we just, like I said, I was on the Kestrel, and then the Ben was on the Sky. So again, it was that split focus that really hurt us. They do take out two of them, but the Kestrel does take out Ben here in a second. Ben is like pretty healthy, but then he just gets kited and he falls into this mist like so easily. I gave him so much flack for that. I was like, dude, really? Did you not see her go invisible? But I think it's just, he thought he was gonna, oh, that's what it was. Okay, I remember what he said now. So like, he literally had his finger over the reflex block because he wanted to continue the chase to secure the ace, but he missed the timing on the reflex block and died before he even was able to hit it. So that was very unfortunate for him. But yeah, I was just like, come on, Ben, what the hell? I was like, that was clearly there. But yeah, it was because he missed the reflex block. So be gentle with him in the comment section. That's what he was doing. He was actually trying to reflex block it, but just failed. And it happens to the best of us. It's not just him. It happens to every single person at some point in time. Even Cole the Meek, I guarantee you, has had moments where he missed his reflex block. Probably not as much as me, but, there's been some times. For me, it's like there's been a lot of times. But for Cole the Meek, there's been like a couple games where he missed one. I'm sure. Maybe he hasn't, but I'm pretty sure he has. Everybody has. Alright, so this is pretty risky right here. We are definitely not in position to fight. They are definitely the more aggressive team, but we actually managed to pick up the Sky. Ben actually gets the Kestrel. It's that split focus I keep talking about that actually hurt us, that actually helped us in this particular fight. But overall, you do want to have a similar focus when you are really struggling to win a fight. If you're really dominant, you can kind of split your focus because a lot of times both of you guys can pick up an individual kill on a separate hero. But if you're behind, I think a lot of times what you want to do is you want to maintain and focus on one hero, burn him down as fast as you can, and then refocus on the next carry. So you want to focus on the strongest carry, then into the next carry. That's generally what you want to do when you're behind, I would assume. And sometimes we're just not doing this match and it's hurting us. But, like I said, this particular fight that just happened actually benefited us. Now, here's where... oh no, I think it's maybe another Kraken, but... We do get a couple of turrets out of this. We do have to back out after the second turret, I believe. They are just a little too strong for us to want to warrant us staying around and trying to push even harder. My infusion just got popped. I can double infuse, so we're looking pretty good. To be honest, I probably should have just taken out that turret as fast as possible instead of trying to ult. And now I'm taking tons of damage from that Skye. Like I said, there are a lot of times what happens is you get so focused on doing one thing that you forget some of the basic mechanics of a fight and not realize what you're doing. And it happens to me sometimes too, like what happened earlier was I was not focusing on the turret, I was just trying to do damage in general when I could have just focused the turret and then pushed towards the enemy. But that was not great either. We got split. I got split by the Skye and got shredded because I have no defense against Skye. Yeah, it's actually smart of them to have the Skye focus on me because I'm squishy and I built damage against the Kestrel. So it would be smart for them to have this guy take me out while the Kestrel just does damage to whoever. So that's pretty smart on their end. If that's what they were doing on purpose or not, but regardless, what they're doing is they're doing well. Wizard Sibs in general is a great player. I forget which one he is. I think he is this guy. I don't remember. But Wizard Sibs is a great player. He's by far a better player than myself. Yeah, he is this guy. I've played around with him for quite a while. I've been basically in the same tier as him for the longest time I can think of. I think he's now Vainglorious though. But I think we were both like POA for a very long time, I mean, I probably could have pushed towards Vainglorious myself. I kind of focus on videos rather than grinding my rank, so that's really a lot of times why, like, you might find that I'm not Vainglorious still. It's because one, I don't have the amount of time that some people have, but two, like, I'd rather just have fun in general than focus on building my rank. But I'm trying to refocus that this update. I'm trying to be a little bit more serious in the terms of improving my gameplay and improving my diversity with heroes. So with that said, sorry if I'm kind of going off on a rant. You guys see what's happening, and I'll try to annotate some things with voice if I see some mistakes I make. We are going to survive this right here, but not for much longer. But yeah, so I'm trying to diversify, but the one issue I'm having with the team, I'm not going to name off anybody specifically, but there is a person who every time we rank, he's like, hey, just play Ringo. And I'm just like, dude, I can play Ringo, sure, but if I'm going to be playing Ringo and I get knocked out, meaning in the pick and ban phase, they choose a Ringo or they ban a Ringo, what am I going to play? You know, I haven't had a lot of practice with other heroes. I have alternate heroes that I'm decent with, but I'm not as great with Ringo, right, as I am with Ringo. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to diversify. I'm trying to improve my gameplay for you guys, trying to have more heroes under my belt that I can play effectively. And I'm in the progress of still learning them. I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm still learning them. Trying my hardest to learn them as fast as I can and be efficient. Here, we did know that they were going to try to backdoor. And so we did catch the Kestrel off guard. And fortunately, we were able to kill her. But yeah, so one thing I don't like about the way the game works when it comes to taking out all your turrets and only having your Vayne available to you is the fact that backdooring is highly advised. Because you're basically taking an opportunity you have for the easiest win possible and not utilizing that if you're not going to backdoor. And so what it really does, it just opens it really instigates the need to backdoor in order to get that easy win. I don't like that. I like to be able to have this sense that, hey, even though you're down to your Vayne, you still have this opportunity to, you know, make a change in the flow of the game and maybe go for a win. But when you have these tactics where people just kind of avoid the fight and keep you at bay, I understand the theory behind it, and I like the fact that you can kind of make strategies around that, but it just, for me personally, I don't like backdoors. It just kind of is like a shameless thing, in my opinion. But overall, I think it's okay. I just think, in my own personal opinion, I wish it didn't exist. I still wish you could still fight it out, you know? Which you can, in a sense. You can just stay at your base, but then you're not going to get any farm. So really, it forces you to leave your base in order to stay afloat in the match. So basically, when you're down to your Vayne, either you have to get really lucky that the enemy team doesn't push for a backdoor, or you get really lucky and somehow ace them at some point. But usually when you have no more turrets, it's like that exponentially increases the chances that you are going to lose. More so than I wish it did, but that's the game. So you just gotta deal with it. So one thing you can do is you can start setting up vision. So what you do is you set up vision around the perimeter of your base, along the wall, and along in some of the bushes around your base to kind of prevent that. But it doesn't necessarily resolve the issue. The issue's still there. They still could just Warhorn in and get there before you can even port back, potentially. But it definitely is some sort of measure to kind of help in that situation. That's kind of where the point I was going with this was. I don't like it, and some people may not like it either, but there are ways to kind of help the issue. Vision is important if you're going to be afraid to even extend past your base, if you're afraid of a backdoor. So here we are. We're trying to looking around. We're trying to find a fight, but they just aren't around. They're playing this to the point where they're waiting for an opportunity to rush that base, and so I'm just like telling Ben, I have a feeling that we need to go back. So we went back, and so we are gonna find the fight. They're gonna rush in though, and they're just going to end up getting the Vayne regardless. I think what they need to do is they just need to increase the health on the Vayne. That would be cool, because you'll see here that even though we do fight them head on, like we have very limited CC. I want to say with limited CC, but we just don't have the damage output to stop the fight, I guess you would say, but to stop them from hitting our Vayne. So here we are. They are going to push towards that. Nothing we can really do. So we're going to take out the Skye. We're going to try to take out the Kestrel, but it's just not enough time. They're just going to go ahead and take it out. There's nothing we could have done. Well, maybe we could have maybe positioned ourselves better for the fight, but the chances of us not being able to fight that off, or the chances of us fighting us off is really low. But hopefully you guys liked that video. It is a loss. I like to show you guys more losses if I can. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And hopefully it was a great learning experience for you as well as myself. And again, check out that podcast that I mentioned earlier. It'll be in the description down below. It's the 1.17 update. I'll talk to the Main Vayne podcast. And I'll see you guys next time. Later!